The following is the most controversial topic in Stoicism. And I say this because if I ever talk about this topic, I get a lot of mean messages and comments and cause lots of arguments. The topic is, can women be Stoic? Now, before you start listening to my words, if you're listening to this on YouTube, I'd like you just leave a comment and say if you're male or female. Man or woman, I want you to leave a comment saying yes or no, can women be Stoic? Yes, women can be Stoic. No, women cannot be Stoic. And I want to know your gender. Just an interesting experiment. Because by the end of it, you'll know if women can be Stoic. Musonius Rufus, who was Epictetus' teacher, said this: "It is not men alone who possess eagerness and a natural inclination towards virtue, but women also. Women are pleased no less than men by noble and just deeds, and reject the opposite of such actions. Since that is so, why is it appropriate for men to seek out and examine how they might live well? That is, to practice philosophy, but not women." Welcome back to day 13 of 100 Stoic School with myself, William Mulligan, author of the Everyday Stoic, Simple Rules for a Good Life. And also, if you're in America, this book is available. The cover looks slightly different. Don't be confused. It's blue and gold, looks beautiful. It looks slightly different. It's the same book, just a few variations of words and things like that to help make it a better experience for an American reader. Today's episode is powered by Huel. Let's jump into the episode. So today's lesson is on the topic of, can women be Stoics? Which, oddly enough, is a very controversial subject. I try to avoid talking about it a lot because it just causes too much controversy and too much arguments, which is strange because I don't see why it should. So, in Zeno's Ideal Republic, so Zeno was the founder of Stoicism. He was the man who started the whole thing. He was the first ever Stoic. He was the foundation of Stoicism. He wrote his Ideal Republic, which is like, Plato had his Republic and Zeno tried to write his own Republic, which is basically like a perfect world. So, in this Ideal Republic, men and women were equal. He probably learned this from his Cynic tutor, Crates, and Crates' wife, Hipparchia, which they influenced Zeno massively in his teachings of ethics, in his life, in his teachings on relationships. And I'll read another quote by Musonius Rufus, who was a very famous Stoic. He tutored Epictetus. Musonius Rufus was exiled to the harsh island of Gyros, and most people will be scared. Oh no, I've been exiled. My life is over. He loved it. He said it was a perfect chance for him to practice his Stoic philosophy. So he said this quote: "Women, as well as men, have received from the gods the gift of reason, which we use in our dealings with one another, and by which we judge whether a thing is good or bad, right or wrong." He also argued that women should be allowed education from a young age to learn what is good, which doesn't sound like a big deal, but back then women weren't really afforded education. So he was fighting the norm to say women need education from a young age. And at this point here, he's talking about women have the ability to judge whether things are good or bad. This is one of the most important principles of Stoicism, to have the wisdom to know between good and bad. It's also reported that Seneca, who was the advisor of Emperor Nero, he wrote to his mother an apology that his father forbade her to study philosophy. His reasoning for that being that women have the same intellectual ability as men, and they should have the prerogative to understand the difference between right and wrong through the study of ethics. Epictetus was also known for challenging his contemporaries and criticizing them for objectifying women and only placing value on their physical attractiveness. So we're starting to get a sense that, from the founding Stoic, then some of the most famous Stoics, all of them are kind of saying women can be Stoic, and women are equal. And, Marcus Aurelius certainly expressed how he's seen women as equal in his meditations, his love for the women in his life. It's quite unusual for a man to be open about these things back then, but he was open about his love for his mother, the things he learned from his mother. It was also quite unusual for men to take advice from women and to give credit to women. It was not a good time for women, actually. But Marcus Aurelius was open about these things he learned from his mother. He learned a great deal from his mother, and his mother influenced him massively. She sounds like a very wise and strong character. I'd love to know more about her, but there's not too much of history that we know. So, do you want to hear some famous women Stoics? The stories of these women will blow your mind, actually. One of them is the first woman. Her stories are pretty awesome. She's a real badass. So this is Portia Catanus. Portia Catanus was the daughter of Cato and grew up with a deep love of philosophy and married Brutus. When Brutus was plotting Caesar's assassination, he was quite secretive about it, but promised Portia that he would share the heavy secrets with her. So to demonstrate that she would not divulge his secrets even in physical torture, she stabbed herself right through her thigh. After enduring the pain for at least a day, she said this to Brutus: "You, my husband, though you trusted my spirit that it would not betray you, nevertheless were distrustful of my body, and your feeling was but human, but I found that my body also can keep silence. Therefore, fear not, but tell me all you are concealing from me, for neither fire, nor lashes, nor goads will force me to divulge a word." I get chills talking about her. She's so inspiring, this woman. The things, the historians, the way they speak about her was like she was this formidable weapon, this focused and disciplined woman that just didn't want any credit. She just wanted to do the right thing. The next Stoic is Fannia. Fannia is the daughter of Thracia. She was a woman of great fortitude and respectability. When her husband, Helvidius Priscus, was exiled twice, she followed him into exile. And a historian spoke of Fannia, saying, after her death, "It grieves me to think of so excellent a woman being torn from us all, who will never, I fear, see her like again." A quick word from our sponsor, Huel. I really like Huel. When I was writing my book, I was using Huel to power me through every single day. When I had my daily greens, when I had my meals, when I had my shakes, it stopped me from going to the shop, buying a load of rubbish, buying a load of unhealthy food, wasting loads of money. And these things do add up. Those quick journeys to the shop every day, the money adds up, the unhealthy foods add up, the wasted time adds up. So if I ever get those cravings, I grab a Huel and it fills my cravings. I feel good, it tastes delicious, it's quick and easy. And if you have any interest in the Huel products, then check the link in the description. Let's get back to the episode. The next Stoic is Elizabeth Carter. Elizabeth Carter was more of a modern Stoic between the 18th and 19th century, and she is the first person to ever translate the work of Epictetus into English. So because of her, we can read the great works of Epictetus. And because of her, I can actually speak about the works of Epictetus, which is amazing. And, when she became really poor and ill, she used that money that she made from her works of translating Epictetus, and she used it to help charity and help people in need, which I think is very admirable. So, what do you think? Can women be Stoic? Has your answer changed? Is your answer the same? Let me know. Are you a woman and do you think you're a Stoic? Are you a man? Do you think women can be Stoic? Do you think women can't be Stoic? I'll leave you on one last thing. Growing up, I had 7 siblings, 1 mum, single mum. And she raised us all with not much money. It was tough for her, very tough. We weren't the easiest kids. And growing up, I followed her character. I followed her, the way she was. And she never complained. She got on with things. She was very strong and didn't pity herself. She focused on what she could control. She accepted things how they were, but also did her best to make things better and work on herself and be a good person. She never talked bad about people. She just did the right thing. She didn't know what Stoicism was, but she is the first Stoic I ever met, and she's still a great representative of Stoicism. She's only just found out what Stoicism is because I said that I wrote about her in my book, which I did. I wrote about her in my book because she's the reason I got into Stoicism. So I've always known, because as soon as I found out what Stoicism was, I said, you're talking about my mum. And I'm seeing this with a lot of women in my life, that they're very stoic, and that their ego doesn't seem to get in the way of them trying to say, hey, I'm a stoic, I'm this. They just get on with the world and be good people. Anyway, what's your answer? Hopefully I've cleared some things up for people. And my answer is anyone can be stoic as long as they follow the principles and be a good person and live in accordance with nature. Then you can be stoic. That is it for day 13 of Stoic School with myself, William Mulligan. I hope you're learning a lot. I really do. I'm trying my best to make each lesson fit in a way. I'm not a teacher. I'm learning all this. It's really good fun, actually, and I feel like I'm improving every lesson. I've got the Instagram content going up as well, the reels in more short form. If you just want to share that with someone, try get them involved in Stoic School. If you want to help me, give a like, give a comment, subscribe. If you listen to this on streaming platforms, leave a review. Reviews are really helpful. I've got 12 5-star reviews on Spotify. If I can get that to 100, thanks to you, or I'd be a guy with 100 5-star reviews on my podcast, which I don't know what it means. It really does help, actually. It supports the channel and kind of funds this in some roundabout way. It gets more sales to the book, which helps fund what I'm doing. It means I can happily write my next book, and hopefully, if all goes well, spend my life writing books that help people and teach Stoicism for free that helps people. Thank you, and have a wonderful day.